Hi, welcome to Amanda's Book Corner. I'm Amanda, and for this video, I'm going to be talking about my 2022 book reading goals and resolutions for the upcoming year. So my big thing isn't really about how many books I can read in a year. I mean, I do the Goodreads reading challenge each year, and while it used to be a fun way for me to push myself to read more, now I'm naturally reading a lot more, but that's because I have different goals that are really pushing me forward. But to start off, I will say that for 2022, my reading goal will be 100 books. In 2021, I read, I think 91 or 92 books, depends on how many books I get through in the last couple of days here. But moreover, my real reading goals are about getting caught up on my TBR. I have a lot of books on my shelves that I have not read yet. I don't know what the number is, I'm honestly kind of afraid to count, but it's probably 150 books. Don't tell my family members because they think I need to stop buying books completely until I get caught up, and that's not possible. So one way that I really like to read, especially in the last couple of years, is to read by themes. I've always really been a mood reader. I just kind of read whatever book appeals to me in that given moment. But especially, well, really starting when the pandemic first began, I really started focusing on reading books by some kind of a theme, whether that's by genre or by setting, or some other theme that I've noticed between a few books that I have. I've loosely been doing that for the last 2 years, and so this year I'm going to try to make it formal and actually stick to my themes because I have a really bad habit of planning out months and then completely changing course for whatever reason. Usually because new books come into my life and I get too excited and I start reading them instead of reading the other books that I plan to read. So my big thing this year is my own personal reading challenge, and you are welcome to join in if you like. Actually, I'd be really happy if you do, and it can be kind of a fun community experience. So for each month, I had picked out one theme that I plan to stick to, and personally, I plan to read at least 2 or 3 books in each theme, but the number of books that you plan to read within that theme can vary. You can choose just 1 book for that theme, you can choose 2, you can choose 10, whatever works for you. So for January, my theme that I've picked out is books in translation. And my extra goal on top of that is to try to read books that are translated from authors from different parts of the world. Unofficially, I'd like to read at least 1 book in translation from each continent. We'll see if I can do that. I have a few picked out, so I think it should be doable. I'm not sure about Australia or North America, but all the other continents I do plan to read a book in translation from an author from there. For February, my main thing that I picked out is books about Black musicians. February is Black History Month, so I did want to read something that highlights Black voices and Black characters, but I wanted it to kind of center on something maybe closer to Black joy. So I'm hoping that these books about musicians will be a fun way to capture that. In addition to that, I do plan to also read some books that focus on Black history. So I have a few novels that I plan to read, that I've been planning to read, that are kind of centered on the American Civil War and the aftermath of that, specifically about people who were slaves and who were freed from slavery. I have some really good books I've been planning to get to. I was going to do it last year, didn't do it because whatever, but this year I do plan to read a few of them. For March, the challenge is to read classics and retellings of classics or folklore or mythology. So personally, I'm planning to do a deep dive into the Brontes and some spin-offs of Jane Eyre specifically. So that's what I'm planning to do, but there's plenty of other ways that you can take this. In April, my theme is Paris. I have a lot of books that are set in Paris, and I've decided I want to kind of clump them together and read them together. Actually, I have more books set in Paris than I can read in 1 month, and so I'm not going to get through all of them, but I would like to get through at least maybe 5 of them. That would be great. Then the May challenge is to read books that are set in Spain. This is again a thing where I have a lot of books that are set in Spain. Spain's my favorite country, by the way. I did live there for a year and it was awesome. But I have several books that are specifically set during the Spanish Civil War and the time of Franco. So I'd like to read those and maybe 1 or 2 others. There's a book coming out by Isabel Ibanez called Together We Burn, which I think is set in a fantasy version of Spain. I also am still planning to read The Spanish Love Deception, which is a contemporary romance, so hopefully I'll be able to squeeze that in too. By the way, April is Arab American Heritage Month, so I do plan to read at least 1 book for that. And May is Asian American Pacific Islander Month, so I also plan to read at least 1 book for that. But for those categories, I have another month a little bit later that I plan to get to more books by Asian authors. Okay, so for June, there's already 2 challenges that I always try to take part in. Of course, June is Pride Month, and so I usually try to read books that highlight queer and trans and non-binary characters, so I will be doing that. It's also Read Caribbean Month, and I haven't celebrated that yet, but I would like to do that this year. So I was thinking about a theme that could fit both, and the theme I chose is family. I have a few books that fit one or both of those two themes already, and so I'm hoping family can be a good one to check the boxes, but also keep it in its own special challenge. For July, the challenge is to read books that are set in Africa. I have a lot of books that are set in various countries in Africa that I've been wanting to get to, and I would really like to devote my time to them in July. I've read a lot of books that are specifically set in Nigeria. I understand that Nigeria produces a lot of authors and a lot of books are published from there, but I've read so many books set in Nigeria that I really do want to start reading books that are set in different countries within Africa. I have books on my TBR that are set in Somalia and Uganda and Zambia. So there's several books that I would like to get to. I'm not sure if I'll get through all of them because I actually have a lot of books on my shelves that are set in Africa, but we'll see how many I can get through. My August challenge is Asian books. So I have a ton of books that are set in Asia. There's no way I can get through all of them in 1 month. I should probably devote 2 months to them, but I really want to get different challenges for each month. But yeah, I do want to read books that are set in various countries within Asia, in different parts of Asia too, not just East Asia, but also Southeast Asia and Central Asia and more Western Asia. So I want to get through as much of the continent as I can. In September, my main theme is dark academia books. I have several books that are set in schools that are also a little bit spooky and thrillery, so I do plan to read those. I was going to do that last September and then I didn't. Whoops, that was a mistake. But I do plan to get to them this September. My October theme is supernatural books. So I thought this would be a great theme for October since so many people often read thrillers and horrors and things leading up to Halloween. So I thought supernatural would be a great theme to make sure you're also getting in some ghost stories and maybe some vampire stories or werewolf stories or something like that. And I have several books that fall into those categories. Also, between September 15th and October 15th, that's Latinx Heritage Month. And so I do plan to read books that fit the September and October themes that are written by Latinx authors. For November, the theme is books that are set in Northern Europe. I have several books that are set in Sweden and Norway and Iceland and Denmark that I'd like to get to. And November is also Native American Heritage Month, and so I do plan to read books by and about Native Americans as well. And then for December, the theme is Eastern Europe. I was going to combine Northern and Eastern Europe into one category, but I have so many books that I decided to split it up. So yeah, in December I'll be reading books that are set in Eastern Europe, and that'll be a fun way to end the year. So those are the challenges that I plan to do for my own personal reading goals and for fun. So if you want to join in, that'd be great. At the beginning of each month, or maybe a little bit before that, I will put out a video that has some reading recommendations for books that would fit into that category. The one for January might be a teeny bit late. And then at the end of each month, I'll do kind of a recap of the books I read that fit that theme and how I did with it. Okay, so now for some resolutions. My main resolution is how many books I'm allowed to acquire in 2022. I used to only buy like 1 or 2 books a month, and then I signed up for book of the month and I started increasing it to 3, and then I opened a second account and then I started buying more books. And then during the pandemic, I got even more books. And so now I have a lot of books on my shelves that I need to get through. My TBR is kind of causing me some stress. And so for 2022, I decided I need to put on some serious limits on how many books I can buy each month. So my current plan is I can only buy a maximum of 4 books in any given month, and I can only buy 4 books if the previous month I read at least 8 books. Basically, for every 2 books I read, I can buy 1 book. And as an extra caveat to that, within 3 months of buying any given book, I need to have read it. So for example, if I buy 4 books in January, by the end of April, I need to have read 2 of those books. And if I fall behind on reading my new books, that means I need to stop buying books until I've gotten caught up on reading the new ones. So this will be hard for me because I'm a book collector. I love to buy books, I like to hold them, I like to fill up my library. So wish me luck on this. I was supposed to do this in 2020 and in 2021, and I failed both times. So let's see if this year I can actually stick to my own resolution and stop buying so many books. By the way, this rule does not apply to free books. So if someone gets me a present or if I win one in a giveaway, those are okay. They don't eat into my number of books I'm allowed to acquire. But I should try to keep a handle on things. And so, yeah, really my goal is to lower my TBR. Like I said, I have, 150 books on my shelves. My goal is to maybe get that down by about 50. So at the beginning of 2023, my TBR is only 100 books. And then after that, only 50 books. And eventually, theoretically, I'll get caught up. We'll see if that's possible, but that is my goal. In addition to the books I read and the books that I buy, My other goals are really centered around ABC, or Amanda's Book Corner. I call it ABC. I only started this YouTube channel a few months ago and I'm really enjoying it. And so my goal is to keep up with this YouTube channel and keep growing it. I'm also going to try to keep up with writing my book reviews. I did fall behind on a few book reviews last spring that I just haven't quite gotten back to, but I do plan to get to them. But yeah, going forward, I do want to keep up on all my written book reviews and all my video book reviews and the additional videos like this one. So those are my main reading goals and resolutions. Let me know what you think of them and let me know what your goals and resolutions are. I would love to know what your plans are for 2022 in terms of reading. And if you want to participate in my challenge, that would be wonderful. Like I said, I'll be putting out videos each month about each month's individual challenge. And so it'll be really fun if you participate and let me know what you're reading that fits the challenge. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be putting out more videos like this one in the coming months. If you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please ring the bell to get all my notifications so you don't miss more videos like this one. I put out at least 1 or 2 book review videos each week, and I'll be putting out additional videos like this one, hopefully about once a week as well. So I hope you like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!